Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
This episode is brought to you by Skinny Pop Popcorn. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Oh, so light and crunchy. Skinny Pop Original Popcorn is the snack you've been searching for. Made with just 3 simple ingredients: popcorn kernels, sunflower oil, and salt. Snacking never felt or tasted so good. Perfectly popped, endlessly delicious. Give yourself permission to snack and pick up Skinny Pop Original Popcorn today.
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's go fake reindeer with them.
Dylan, how you doing, buddy?
That's a loaded question. That's a really loaded question. I mean,
Okay, well, let's not dump on our listeners with our bad news during Christmas season.
yeah. So
We can save that shit for January.
That's true. We'll save that for January. I'm
Let's just say
feeling all right.
Let's just say there's a chance that when we do one of our early January segments, we might be doing it in Dylan's brand new car. And
Yeah.
we'll leave it at that.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Dylan, a thing that we ask about every single week
Yeah.
on this show
Uh-huh.
is, man, wouldn't it be great if it was Christmas every day? And of course, you picked a movie that asks that very question.
Not when it's like this. Christmas every day would be great. Not like this.
So,
Not this kid's life.
so
Jesus.
I had never even heard of this movie.
I don't think most people have. I had first seen this movie, just to give people a heads up. It's a made-for-TV movie called Christmas Every Day from 1996. It said ABC Family, but I'm really confused because in 96, I'm pretty sure it was Fox Family
Well, so here's the thing.
still.
It's clear that the version that you sent us, because the only way you can watch this shit is like a YouTube rip.
Yeah.
The YouTube was clearly that this got replayed on ABC Family as
Yes.
part of the 25 Days of Christmas. And I know that because every 10 minutes, Santa Claus or Frosty shows up
Oh,
to
come
tell
on,
me
that
what
was a
else
fun bit.
I could be watching.
That was a fun bit, though.
Oh, for sure. Also, one complaint, because I saw
I
this
have a lot of
advertised.
complaints. I love this movie, but
I saw this advertised way too many times. Dylan, as you and I have learned, there are an infinite amount of Christmas movies, and a wide range of them
I know where you're going with this.
are family films. Why is ABC Family throwing Chronicles of Narnia, Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe in there as a Christmas movie, when, as it is explicitly said in the movie, it's always winter, but never Christmas?
That's very true. That's very true. We know that. We know that very well. Well, also, this was when ABC Family had the rights to the Harry Potter series as well.
And they kind of forced Harry Potter into being a Christmas
there
movie.
was also there were also ads for Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets coming up next.
Yeah.
Which I would argue is the least Christmassy of
Least
at least
Christmas.
the early Harry Potter films. So yeah, so they did put a new title card on it for the ABC Family. But I had seen this. My mom, grandmother, and I would stay with my great-grandmother when I was younger. She just wasn't doing well health-wise, so everybody was kind of chipping in and helping out when her husband passed. And this was just one of those movies that was on, and I was like, holy shit, that's the kid from Brink. And I
was
ended
going
up
to say, this is
just-
like the most C-list characters
I
I've ever
ended
seen
up
in my
just
life.
falling in love with this movie. And I watched it a ton in the 90s and early 2000s, and then it disappeared for a while. I hadn't seen it. And then a few years ago, I was like, I remember this movie. And I just typed in the name, and the YouTube popped up. So every year, I find some time to just throw it on and let it play. And boy, let me tell you, this is a hilarious watch. In an ironic way.
and I know that this was a made for TV movie, and
Yes.
it could be that it's a bad rip.
Yeah.
Because like you hear that like static
Oh,
of like
yeah.
a VCR rip throughout the entire movie.
And it's blurry
But-
as shit.
But something feels off with the audio to me where it feels like a soap opera. Like it
Yeah.
feels like it was shot on a soap opera set. Like all of the camera shots are so static.
Yeah.
And like the characters' voices are so like talking to the cheap seats in every single scene that I was just like, it took a while for me to like, all right, this is just how it's going to be. So like, let's just
Yeah.
push through and enjoy it for what it is. So the main thing, and you had already texted me your feelings on this, so I'm glad that we're in sync on this. Our main character, Billy, sucks.
He's a
like,
piece of shit. Like,
he's
the worst.
absolute worst. And I feel like, I mean, there's a scene where he's walking around and some kids like are playing basketball. And they're like, how about you take a shot? And when I tell you, this is the worst basketball shot I've ever seen in my entire life. And I am a human being who's bad at shooting baskets. But like this kid actively loves basketball.
Yeah.
And like he should be better than this. He has a basketball net at home for practicing, for God's
well,
sake.
he just got it. He just got
That's
that
fair, but
basketball
still.
hoop and the basketball for Christmas. But they talk about him practicing his jump shot, which in turn does hint at the fact that he has touched a basketball before
He's
this
held
moment.
a basketball at least once in his life. And then he gets so angry that he says something to the kid who beat him in this basketball thing and says, like, I didn't know that our town had its own Dennis Rodman. And the guy's like, yeah, I guess I am pretty good. And I'm like, oh, God, where's this going to go? Is he going to drop the F word? And he doesn't, but he gets pretty close because he's like, yeah, because you're the only other person who would look good in a dress, which is like such a specifically dated reference to like this one thing that Dennis Rodman did in like 1995 for an award show. Like,
Which is wild because if you took that scene out, like if you took that line specifically out, this movie could be set in the 1960s. Like
it's
easily.
so
This
it's
movie,
so leave it to,
Yeah.
Dylan, you know the point where I thought this is not reality anymore?
What?
We're gonna jump
All of
real
it?
far back.
The entire
No, we're gonna jump
fucking
real
thing?
far back. When he's at the video store and he says, "Can I pay for these when I return them?" And the guy's like, "Absolutely." In
Yeah,
what fucking
no
world in
fucking way,
1996?
dude. Not a chance. Not a chance. Pay me right now. So
Yeah.
let's back
Has the creators of this movie never walked into a video store before?
Yeah. Backing up a little bit. Fun fact. The only trivia on IMDb is that the plot is similar to the Sesame Street Christmas movie Elmo Saves Christmas, which came out on video that same year. So that is the only trivia fact on IMDb. Figured we should get that out there.
That didn't make it on the list of stuff that maybe I have to update our list for Christmas, the week of Christmas. We're going to talk about Muppets Christmas movies. This comes out on December 2nd.
Yeah.
This Friday,
Yes.
we're going to be doing the Geekscape live stream. You can donate to Big Brothers Big Sisters just by going to geekscapegives.com and donating to our cause. But please tune in. Dylan and I are going to play the Home Alone Super Nintendo game
Hell
for
yeah,
a
we
little
are.
bit. Dylan, I think you and I are participating in that RPG game.
Yep.
That's like the main event. And we're going to be hosting a official ranking of what I thought was every Muppets Christmas related material. I'm finding out that Elmo Saves Christmas was an option that I didn't put on the list.
Well,
I think we're fine
I
with
think
the
we're
10
okay.
that I said.
Yeah. No, don't add any more. Dude, so peek behind the curtain, Matt sends me that list, and I almost texted him and said, hey, man, can I watch all of these at 2 times speed? because holy shit, there's a lot of Muppets content.
But there's a lot that are like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
like
I
at least
figured.
and I feel like you've seen at least 3 of them
Yeah,
already.
I've seen Em
like,
and
do you
Otter.
really-
I'm not watching that shit again.
I was gonna say you don't need to watch Em and Otter again. You don't. We just did Muppet Family Christmas last
Hell
year.
yeah.
You've clearly memorized Muppets Christmas Carol.
Yes.
Like none of those I'm watching
No.
again. Like there's maybe 3 where I'm like I've never even fucking heard of this, so I
Yeah.
need to like I've never seen the Lady Gaga one, and I've never seen. I think it was like Mr. Welbo's Christmas, Mr. Webley's
Yeah.
Christmas or something, which is starring the Muppets and Robert Downey Jr. in like the bad times of Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, nice, dude! I'm
So
super excited to watch.
I'm
this.
kind of stoked to watch
Yeah.
this, whatever the fuck that is.
And a little bit more about that day. We're gonna be recording a bunch of content as well that weekend. And as a little sneak preview to our listeners, Matt and I are taking a really cool trip the day after the recording. Some of you have heard of sounds and noises that maybe those Spirit Halloween stores are getting a little jolly this winter. And Matt
there's
and
one
I
that's
are
not too far away,
Nope,
so we're
and
gonna.
I think we're gonna hit it up and record our thoughts, and I hope you guys are looking forward to that one as well.
Yeah.
Will I be this Christmas?
Hey Geekscapists, it's Matt Kelly here. You know me from my appearances on basically every show on the network, as well as the work that I do on our YouTube channel, Geekscape TV. And I'm here to let you know that on December 6th, we are having the 5th annual Geekscape Holiday Live Stream Spectacular. That's right, another 24-hour event of us going through all the different shows, hanging out with each other, and most importantly, trying to raise money for the Big Brothers Big Sisters of coastal and northern New Jersey. We've made it extra easy for people to donate this year. Just go to geekscapegives.com. It'll take you right to our donation page so that you can go and make a difference in a child's life. Also, we're hoping that you'll tune in. If you're a night owl, from 12:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 6th, we'll be running a 9-hour video of some of our favorite moments from the first 4 live stream events before we dive straight in at 9 a.m. We'll be talking to Charlene from Big Brothers Big Sisters. We'll be watching some silly videos together. The people from Horror Movie Night and Jersey Ghouls are going to be ranking all of the Silent Night, Deadly Night movies. There's going to be music trivia from One Hit Thunder. Napping Through Happy Hour is going to be doing a collab with other people from the podcast. The big final event at 10 p.m. is a giant Geekscape role-playing game where we are Muppets trying to save Santa Claus. There's not going to be a single second that you're going to want to miss of this live stream. So whether you're at work or at home, throw it on in the background. Let us entertain you for 24 straight hours of podcasting gold. And more importantly than any of that, visit geekscapegives.com and make a donation. You can make a donation starting today, but the live stream is December 6th. We hope you'll tune in.
Gonna change.
But anyway, now we can
Yes.
talk about Christmas every
Christmas
day.
every
Now
day.
we've got that all out of the way.
Yes, we got to talk about what is obviously the greatest movie that has repetition days ever made.
Yeah,
Like,
no, this
Eat
is
Your
better
Heart
than
Out,
both Palm
Groundhog
Springs
Day.
and Groundhog Day.
All right, so you've got Billy Jackson, who is this piece of shit kid played by Eric Von Detten, which I was super into Eric Von Detten as a kid because he
Who
was
couldn't be?
everywhere. He popped up in all that shit. He was in this. He was in Brink. He was in the Disney Channel original series So Weird. You remember that one from back in the
Yeah.
day?
He was one of a regular. He was a reoccurring voice on Recess.
He was a reoccurring voice on Recess. He also, funny enough, he brought up Leave It to Beaver. He plays Beaver's brother in the 90s remake of Leave It to Beaver.
Of course he does.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. But Billy is a complete piece of shit. He has a rough Christmas day, which then leads to him being the absolute fucking worst to his little sister. Like, he has a rough day. Yeah, he's bullied, but he kind of brings a lot of it on himself. Like, maybe don't hit on the girl that already has a boyfriend and then be upset that she's not leaving her boyfriend for you. That was always a weird 90s trope to me, where it
Boy,
was
was it.
like it's so odd that you think that you're going to convince this girl to break up with her boyfriend to date you, which he does later on in the movie.
And not for nothing, like, listen, there were some really rough 90s teen comedies when you look at them through a lens. Like, it's very easy to pick apart the creepiness of something like Can't Hardly Wait. But at least in that circumstance, Ethan Embry was like, oh, she's got a boyfriend. I'm going to keep my distance.
Yep.
And then was like, oh, my God, they broke up. This is my last chance to, like, say how I feel.
No, Billy's like, I'm going to kiss this girl.
Yeah, I'm just going to fucking kiss her right in front of her boyfriend. Just to really...
And then
just
he,
really
like, gets
grind it in.
punched in the face, and he's like, rough day, huh? Like, like he didn't bring that upon himself. But I just want to touch on the fact that this is the first Christmas night. The night ends, the little sister comes in and is like, there's something under my bed. Can I sleep with like, there's nothing under your bed. Also, there's no fucking Santa. Like, he just goes so hard.
Listen,
to his little
you think
sister.
that's where I got sick of this kid even sooner than that.
Go for it.
When there's a shot where the whole family is all around the
Singing
piano
carols,
and they're
and he
singing
wanted to go
carols
watch
together,
basketball.
and he's standing there looking miserable, and he's like, "Listen, I got to go watch the Bullets game," which is only made more infuriating that by like the 6th or 7th day, he's watched this Bullets game 6 times and is still like, "I want to go watch the Bullets game." Like, motherfucker, sing some carols with your goddamn family.
Are you not learning? You gotta get the holly jollies, and the day will move on.
That was where I wrote, "I hate this kid."
Oh yeah, the kid. He is the fucking worst, and he continues
There's also
to be.
too many moving pieces. I think
100%,
in this movie,
yeah.
like it's not just that he has to learn the true meaning of Christmas.
No.
Like that would be the simple version of doing this,
Yes.
right? Like he has to learn to not be a Scrooge at Christmas time. But we also have this like super bizarre subplot of like the long lost rich brother and coming back, and like the town not wanting him
as
to.
a kid, I was 100% sure was played by Phil Hartman.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
I was, as a kid, I was like, oh, that's the guy from Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, but it's like oh, I've got to turn his heart to gold as well.
Yeah.
I've got to win the girl. I've got to like stop these bullies from doing. Like, there's so many moving pieces, and it's like it's so frustrating because it's like there's certain points where it's like, all right, well, he's getting it, but he's still trapped in this loop because he has to also fix his uncle and the next door neighbor and like all these. I'm like, for God's sake, like. I feel like someone had a good idea for a hour-long TV special, and like the producers was like, hour-long TV specials are a thing of the past, my dude. TV movies is where it's at. Beef up this script with more obstacles.
Yeah, there's like, it's really wild that we didn't even touch on the fact of the older cat lady woman who's like
Which
stuck
like
eating cat
makes
food
me
and candy.
cry.
Yeah. Oh,
when
yeah.
she like finally,
but it's like
when
it
she's
makes
like,
you cry.
I can't go to dinner like this, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, poor old lady. But I'm also like, who is this lady?
Yeah,
like, I
it
feel
makes
like
you
she's
cry in
barely
a
been
way
in it.
it's not earned. Like
No.
this
No,
movie is emotionally manipulative in the worst ways, and it's not successful 90% of the time.
It makes you cry the way that Patch Adams makes you cry.
Yes,
like
100%.
Like it's like I don't really have any attachment to these characters, but you have sick children, so like, how am I not going to be emotionally moved by like a random dying child not dying?
Exactly.
Like, it's like
So throughout the movie, again, Billy is trying to fix these different things. So his first repeat, he's just kind of freaking out and figuring out what the hell's going on. By his third repeat, he's doing everything for himself. So he's like attacking the fucking bully and like
the doctor's already been called by loop number 3, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
They're like he's playing practical jokes at a Christmas pageant with 100 people in there. I don't know why he thought that this would be a good idea.
yeah.
And everything goes through, and then by like loop 4, he starts doing things nice, but for the wrong reason. And you're like, dude, how are you just not fucking getting this at this point?
Well, and my favorite thing when I watch anything like this, like Groundhog Day or Palm Springs or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Palm Springs is so fucking good.
It's so good. But there's always this moment in those movies where the person is like, all right, every day's going to reset, so fuck it. There are zero consequences and I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
And I always think it would be funny. This is my idea for a movie. Is that the movie starts off with them being trapped in a loop.
Yeah.
And the day where they don't give a fuck and do everything terribly is the day the loop stops and then they have to answer for all the consequences.
That'd be awesome. It's kind of, this is a weird, obscure pull. Do you remember Max Keeble's big move?
I do. Yes.
When he was like going to be moving, so he took it upon himself for the entire first half of that movie to get everyone back and to fuck shit up, and then he finds out he's not moving. That's kind of this. You could call it like Max Keeble's repeated day. It's early. I'm fucking tired. I'm not on my game this morning. Sorry.
One of the bits that did make me laugh is they're sitting around the piano doing the carols. And he's like, all right, well, I'm going to watch the Bullets game. And if you're curious, the final score is going to be, and he runs down all the stats.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he walks away, the uncle leans over to his dad and he's like, could you imagine how much money we would make if he actually knew that information?
Yeah.
And then it cuts to him later and he's like, seriously, Billy, how did you know all that?
I mean, that's at least I would keep that up. I would 100% place some money on that game every loop. From that moment forward, I would be doing the Back to the Future almanac bit. Like I'm looking up anything that's happening on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and I'm placing bets on literally everything. Coming back to the brother, I feel like everything to do with the brother, I don't know if I understand what the big deal is. And maybe that's my cold capitalistic heart where I'm like, listen, man, it's 1996. This is gonna happen. And I'd much rather it happen with somebody who is like from the town than someone who's not from the town. This sounds like a great opportunity for the father. Like, we could be rich. We could probably buy that old lady some dinner instead of her just eating cat food and candy all night.
Yeah.
And towards the end, he kind of changes his mind a little bit because, you know, Billy's done his thing. Somehow, I don't think I understand why the uncle ends up going back and saying, no, maybe I just want to sell this business. But maybe you should talk to your wife and daughter about that first before you decide to get rid of all your rich stuff, because they have lived a lavish lifestyle. Also, teach your kid how to ride a fucking bike, you asshole.
Dude, the uncle has that one line where he's just like, man, if you made real money, you could just send your kids off to private school like I did. I was like, fucking father of the year over there. There's another thing that we need to bring up.
Yeah.
Which is, like you said, Billy throughout this is pursuing Diane.
Oh, God, yeah.
And he does it by returning a bracelet that she lost.
I have a
by
comment to make
acting
on
like
this.
Like he bought a new one, which, like, starting point, Diane, you never thought to check the lost and found at the school.
No.
But
hold on. Before you continue, I want to pause on that moment.
Okay.
As somebody who works with individuals of this age...
Okay.
No, they don't. They don't. I'm not kidding. That lost and found is overflowing with things. I have 4 hoodies.
Do you guys get to claim a bunch of stuff at the end of the year?
The kids aren't going to miss it. I have 4 hoodies and 3 bottles in the back of my room. How do you leave a hoodie? Like, how do you forget that you're cold that day? Like,
you
it
know what,
doesn't
though?
make
Flip
any
side
sense
is now
to
that
me.
I live with kids, I understand.
That's what I'm
because we'll just
saying.
we'll be like, didn't you have a jacket? And you're like, well, guess I did.
Yeah. like, as soon as she said, or he goes, I got this for you. And she's like, oh my God, it's just like the one my dad gave me. He's like, it is the one your dad gave you. Where'd you find it? It's in the lost and found. I was like, for a second, I was like, this dumb bitch. And then I was like, wait a minute. That's exactly what a kid would do.
Okay, but that's not the main thing I wanted to talk about.
Sorry, go for it.
What I wanted to talk about was Billy talking to Diane and like, we're talking red flag city when he's just like, you know, you used to have these color eyes and then you got contact lenses.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God, I love you so much. And I'm like, what?
How do
Get
you-
out of that booth, girl.
How do you know
this
all
man
of
is going
this?
to wear your skin.
You didn't even know me in the first grade. Yes, you did. You had Mrs. Such and Such,
Yeah,
and
like,
you
it's
sat
just-
here, and you ate licorice.
Yeah, like you're on a date with Dahmer. You've got to run. And then like also there's just I wrote down I actually find Billy less likable when he starts to love Christmas.
Yeah.
Like he's like skipping down the street and shit. And I'm just like, fuck this kid.
I mean, it didn't help the fucking karate moves and
Oh my God, just renting kung fu videos
Yeah.
so he can fight the bully.
And there was a moment where he just starts to do really bad impressions throughout the movie. Like he does a bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. He does a
he
really
does a John
bad,
Wayne.
Yeah, really bad John Wayne impression. Yeah, Billy's the fucking worst.
I want to read the last note that I wrote down
Go
because
for
we're
it.
basically at my last note. And it said,
Yeah.
I felt like this movie was good, but not 88 minutes long.
No. This is one I talked about a little earlier. This movie's great if you watch it at like a 1.5 speed. You can get it out of your system. That's where I'm at now. Or it's a very good background watch. Like a few years ago, it was like, wow, I found this movie that I haven't seen in years. And then I watched it and I'm like, yeah, I still really like that just because of the nostalgia thing. And in more recent years, it's been like, I'm going to put this on while I go do anything else.
Literally anything else.
But I hope that you found something that you enjoyed at least a little
No,
bit.
for sure.
Because
This is probably not going to become a yearly watch.
no.
But I could see a world where like a year or two down the line, I'm like, what was that movie with Brink and not Phil Hartman?
Yeah.
And I like put it on.
I'm really looking forward to the eventual Vinegar Syndrome release. The
Yes.
Vinegar Syndrome 4K of Christmas Every Day. Somebody's got to do it. Like, we are running out of titles at this point. So, contact me if you really need a good idea. Synapse, Vinegar Syndrome, some of those other fucking...
Maybe that's what we need to do,
boutique
Dylan. We need to
labels.
be the next Vinegar Syndrome, but our thing is not releasing obscure horror movies. It's just made for TV Christmas
Christmas movies. So let's be real, man. I think there's a lot of money in that.
I think that there's a market, maybe. All right, well,
Hallmark
Dylan,
would be pissed.
Yeah. I just want to say Merry Christmas every day, buddy.
I wish it was Christmas every day.
Oh, whoa, oh, now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.